What is up, guys? Welcome back to another Overanalyzing map video. Now for today's map, you guys have actually never requested this, surprisingly, and honestly I really enjoyed looking into this map as there's a few things I didn't even know myself about Nuketown 2025 until I made this video. Now sit back and enjoy the video. And now let's get into the map, Nuketown 2025. Now starting off from the orange house as we spawned here, and plants do grow from the ground, but there's no walking path to actually get to them, meaning like you easily just step on them when you walk into here. We can assume that the cabbage actually grows on the wall because of all the different sizes that there are on the wall, meaning that they are growing, as a prime example here of them growing, and with flowers as well. One thing I find really cool about this greenhouse here is the animated hose that goes around. They do add a lot of animated things that go on in the background, even if people might feel it's unnecessary. It's not a Nuketown without mentioning the shelter. Now, one thing you'll notice is a lot of these signs around the map. I will get into every sign, what they mean and what they're saying after I go through the map. On the other side of the bunker, we have some sort of water filter or water purification. Interesting enough, we have futuristic garbage bins over here. Now, making our way into the kitchen, probably realize some bubbles that come flying around, which again, it's kind of like it adds that animated realism to the map. Another thing that's cool is if you come over to where the stove is, you can actually see heat being absorbed around it. Now, if you haven't picked up, sometimes when you look at certain things, you'll actually see sparkling. A mounted TV wall which shows all the different rooms in the map, and it is a program called Nuketown. We can assume that it is also a radio station. I find it funny that they put a screen as well on a phone line showing around the map. Now, on the TV over here, it kind of previews different parts of Nuketown. Another cool thing is if you look on top of the TV, there's a lava lamp that actually reflects upon the wall. As we make our way to the stairs, we can see that there's a which you can directly speak to the different rooms in the houses. Is it just me, or this looks like the PhD flopper? Coming up the stairs, there's nothing any really crazy, any different than just a practical, simple room. We have advertisements for Nuketown on this table and a small Nuketown sign. In the bedroom, we have little green alien thing. I'm not sure what it's supposed to be referencing. I didn't mention the controls when we were on the TV, but funny enough, there's only 2 buttons to actually control it. But the bedroom actually does not really offer much detail. One thing that you'll notice is that a lot of the decorations and paintings are actually not from any other maps and that Nuketown assets only. Now, before we get into the garage, you'll notice around the map there's a lot of these turning things. Now, I did go into a game where I put a countdown on, because I was assuming once these reach 0 that the game would be over and the nuke would go off. But apparently not. It just kind of just turns out to make you think that. It just spins unlimited. Now making our way into the garage. Now for now we don't really know what this is, but we'll come back and read the sign, but it does seem to be some sort of car cleaner. Now the cars are set obviously but it has that 80s type futuristic vibe to it. Same with everything around the map. We have this generator probably for the entire house over here. Now over here we have the Nuketown bus, which is a Nuketown tour bus actually. It's funny enough is that you can actually see through the window over here. I never really realized it. I always thought it was a solid color on the 2025 Nuketown version. And obviously next here we have the truck, which is a delivery truck. Now another really iconic part of Nuketown is the Nuketown sign, and if you haven't noticed, it counts how many players there's in the map, and because I'm reviewing this by myself there's only 1, but I do find it cool that it is animated and it's kind of like a slideshow. It has the company's brand that made the sign behind it, which I find is a pretty cool detail. Now this house seems to be a 1-floored house. For now, obviously. It is not a Nuketown map without the Nuketown sign, and I really like the design of this one as it spins at the top, and also over here it kind of gives us the countdown of the map, as when it reaches the red area that means the map is over and then the bomb explodes. Now making our way to the blue house, kind of the same principle as the other one, except in this garage we can actually see that there's a car underground. I wouldn't say this house is any different than the other one. We have the bubbles again, the flashing stars, just overall the same kitchen and the same design. We also see the oven as well. Cool enough is that the clocks also are animated in this game. We have a pretty neat fireplace as well that only has blue and purple flames. Again, a lot of the same decorations in the last one, slightly different details to make it feel like it's a different house. This room kind of follows the same principles I said in the other one. There's nothing really too much to it. It's kind of just empty, and obviously we have a table, and this one also has Nuketown advertisements. Now making our way in the bedroom, we can see that this one's a children's bedroom instead of an adult like the other one. It has a bunk bed. It also has a lot of the same toys like the alien, purple themed, and it just has kind of like the same things as there are across the room. People don't even know you could do this. Now making our way in the backyard. Now this backyard is obviously completely different, but I find it doesn't have as as many details as the other one. So if we look into this shed over here, it has some sort of robot, a simple swing set. I'm probably going to catch some slack for this, but I kind of don't even know what this game is. I know there's a name to it, but I just can't wrap my head around it. So if you know what this is, please leave it down in the comments below. And for some reason in this backyard we also have a microwave. Now we kind of skim through things in the game because we can't really explain what any of the certain things are because we've never seen it, but obviously there's signs that explain us what they are. But I wanted to keep that for the end because I wanted to just go through the map as a player and just see what we can analyze. Now I want us to go back from the beginning and now read detail now with everything that we know. I'm going to summarize these signs to explain to you what they are just to make it simple and fast. For example, for the bunker, it says that you can live here for the rest of your life if you really wanted to, just kind of like a Fallout bunker from the game. Now these signs will help us actually determine what this map entails, what any of these mean. For example, now how they grow this cabbage, it explains us in the sign that it's a hydroponics. It is, instead of using soil, they use this new nutrient enriched water. No sign of dirt. We can even see with this floorboard removed. This water purification is something that actually eliminates parasites, bacteria, and algae and viruses, and you can actually wash your clothes with it and drink it. Apparently it can actually transfer garbage into food, apparently, according to the sign. Now this sign is nothing too crazy. It's just about how you can how having glass windows is better so you can see outside. Now going back to the garage, this is actually a power washer. It waxes your car and it dries it as well. Most of the things I already went over I didn't really know, but this is one of them that really surprised me, is the fact that this driveway is something that isn't just generic. It is actually it heats up during the winter, so there's never any snow or ice. Now going back to the one-story house, this house actually has multiple floors, but they just are underground. It's apparently healthy for you to breathe in, even though it looks pretty bad for your lungs. These blue cars do run on only water, which I find pretty cool, which you can use your garden hose to actually fill it up, which there's a few signs that are outside of the map. Some houses might come in different shapes and sizes. Now funny enough is that this house actually has a deeper meaning to it. Even though it looks really ugly, this sign says that you can actually build your own house. If you're someone that is creative, you can actually design your own house, and this one is apparently one of the houses that someone creatively designed. If you ever wonder what these houses are made of, the sign at the blue house actually tells us that recycled and efficient material, polystyrene, plasteel, and polysilicon, which are apparently the essentials for making all these homes in the Nuketown. Now the sign just tells that, hey, this is a hydraulic lift, which we kind of already assumed. Now, I find it really funny how the Blue House offers a pretty cool descriptions of what these houses are made of and how some of the parts in the houses work. Like, for example, the kitchen. This is a long paragraph, obviously, so to summarize it, it just basically explains that meals are created from a touch of a button and is cooked by perfection by nuclear radiation, then follows by saying there's no need to be worried, which, I mean, hey, I'd be worried, but don't past the lethal daily limit. Again, like I said from the previous sign, is very good at explaining what these houses are. For example, also the living room. It's just explaining how this is a simple living room, but with futuristic devices around it. Now, going into the bedroom, it tells us that the mattresses are made from an advanced polyfoam. Now, going at the top balcony, it tells us that plasteel, and it is very strong, which we saw is used to build the homes. Now, going back to the microwaves, as it's advertised, according to the back here, it tells us it's an easy nuke oven. Now going to this robot thingy that we saw in the shed, it is apparently a service bot that built from, again, plasteel, and it just basically can clean up anything. Now this just tells us that all these plants and grasses and bushes are just made out of simple plastic. Now this sign just simply says that this is something that this grass just never grows, and I mean, again, made out of plastic, that's artificial. Do you guys really think I'd miss the most iconic Easter eggs of this map, which are the mailboxes on each house, which obviously relates to Mason and Woods from the Black Ops campaign. Now outside of the map is the most interesting thing for me, because if you haven't noticed, there's a bunch of Call of Duty Black Ops factions, not only 2 but also from 1. Also, if we look in the background, we could see a whole regular city compared to the 80s type style that we're used to in this map. So we can confirm that this map is kind of an attraction. Reasoning for that is that if we look in the background, we could see a bunch of carts that take people on tours, and we could see them scattered around the map. Also, there's a bunch of different flags as well, not only by the Nuketown sign but also behind the houses. If we look past the globe, we can kind of see a duplication of Nuketown. You can kind of see the house, and you can kind of see that it's pretty much a copy and paste version of Nuketown. Also, we have a football stadium. Now there's a few things that are pretty confusing. For example, I have no clue what this thing is supposed to be, or whatever this thing is, but it does fit the vibe of what the map is trying to go for. Other than that, I think that Nuketown does do a great job at showing what's going outside of the map. Even though that Nuketown is just a fan service type of map, there's not really a story, and usually when I make these videos there's always some type of lore or reasoning why we're here, and I don't think there's a particular reason why we're here. I think this is just one of those maps where it's a fan service, so they brought it back to fit the vibe of what Black Ops 2 is, which is a futuristic type game. But also we know that they're trying to advertise a Nuketown in case of a nuclear bomb that goes off. That's why we have all those signs with written details about it. It gives people the options to know or probably early purchase, just like in the game Fallout. So I do think there is some sort of a small story that comes with it, but I don't think it entails with the campaign, since this is a DLC map, which is the first in our series, which I did say I wasn't going to do until the end. I did want to do a map that a lot of people do like, and I do think that this map is pretty cool. Also, we can also see the blue wall from Express. We also have nuclear flags and random architecture pieces. If I'm being honest, I thought that the Nuketown would have been unlimited, meaning that there's a lot of buildings like these scattered around the map, but it's more just in this general area over here, and after that it just kind of stops. It's just a regular modern city. Also, we do see a bunch of speakers here. I'm guessing that's probably when the nuke goes off of some sort, then the sirens do come from here. We could see a few of those around the map. I hope you guys did enjoy the video. It's been Fellow, and stay smart.